So limiting decisions. Now, have you ever just felt like limiting decisions? It's all over the freaking internet. People keep talking about it, and it's like, why the heck do people keep talking about it? What is limiting decisions, and why is it so important to learn what limiting decisions are? Well, limiting decisions are also super unconscious. So how would you even know what a limiting decision is if they're all unconscious, right? Well, the reason why limiting decisions, beliefs, or decisions are so important to know is because it could come from something clear back. You're having this belief that you want to make money, for example, but for some reason you're not hitting the goals that you've been wanting to hit for so long. And you may reach one level, but then the next level you're going for some reason, there's like this gap that you can't quite hit. And it could be a new limiting belief coming up to hit that next level. So limiting beliefs are actually really important, so that you can actually get past the beliefs, the beliefs that you got to one point, and to get past them to the next and the next to the next. Because no matter how much money you make, if we're talking about limiting beliefs as far as money, no matter how much money you make, there's going to be a next level or new income level that you're going to hit. It's funny because I was just talking to someone and she's like, "Oh, I fixed my money beliefs." And I'm like, "That's great to this point. What's it going to take to hit the next money level that you're wanting to hit?" Because there's new levels and new layers that we're always uncovering. So what is a limiting decision or a limiting belief? We need to actually talk about the decision. It's actually a belief that limits you from having, doing, or being what you want. Okay, so what are those limiting decisions? Well, anything that you can't feel is a limiting decision. So if the description that you use gives you, or that you give, is something which you can try on. So if you kind of like see it as trying on a hat, if you can't feel it, that decision, without actually hallucinating that decision, it's likely a limiting decision. So say you've you've hit 7 figures, you hit the $1 million mark, and you're like, I want to hit the $10 million mark. If you put that on, pretend like you put that $10 million on and you feel nothing, then it's a limiting belief. If you feel nothing, okay, there's an example. And so another example of this would be if someone were to say, I just don't feel happy. That is a limiting belief. Okay. Negations are a limiting belief. So for example, anytime you hear someone or yourself say, I don't, with the not word, blah, 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 like, I don't want to be in debt, that is a limiting decision. So anything with a negation is a limiting decision. Interesting, right? So I'm not capable, or I don't feel loved. Those are limiting decisions. Comparatives. Whenever you hear a comparison to something like, I wish I could make more money, or I'm not good enough. I just helped someone today with the limiting decision of I'm not good enough. That is a limiting decision. All beliefs. So what's not obvious is that anytime we have a limited belief, we have adopted, or a limiting decision, we have adopted a limiting belief, which I'm going to show you more of that in just a minute. So the decision actually precedes the event where the belief was adopted from. So this could be like, I don't believe I can do it. There was something that happened before the decision was actually made. So something happened, which was a belief, and then the decision because of what happened is what created the limiting belief. So physiological issues like dis-ease. Now this one's really controversial. Oops, and then accidents came up, but these two are actually pretty controversial. Some people may say, how could you say that accidents or a disease is a limiting belief? Well, the thing is for physiological issues, many issues that result in physiological symptomology, they actually have the root of where that decision came from. So this even includes diseases. Yep. If this triggers you, it's a good sign that it's true. If any of these trigger you, it's a sign that it's true. And that's a limited belief that you have. So you may even have a limited belief just by listening to this very limited decision that I'm bringing up. So accidents, many events in your past are the result of decisions that you made, which preceded the event. If this is not true, when you accept your creation of a past accident, then you can actually unchoose the event, thus changing your future. How cool is that? That you could actually have that much power to change your future by letting go of a limiting decision? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Then there's a negative emotion that's not at cause. So if you have a negative emotion, which you're in the effect where you're blaming, you're pointing fingers, anything like that, it's actually a limiting decision. And then doubts. So all doubts are limiting decisions. Yep. So you could actually write everything down that comes up while I say this. And then if you knew how to actually get to the root cause of that limiting decision and completely get rid of it, then holy cow, will your life start to shift. And I'll show you how in a minute after I show you this. So this is what's happening when you create your reality. There's certain events on the outside world, such as an example would be like winning the lottery, your first kiss, COVID-19, these types of things. So this external event that happens, your unconscious mind actually takes in 11 million bits per second through your 5 senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. Okay. With all of that, your conscious mind can only process 126 bits per second. So 126 bits per second compared to 11 million bits per second is a huge difference. So your conscious mind has to have a way to delete, distort, and generalize what those 11 million bits per second is, because it would be way too much coming in, that it actually filters things out. So it filters through the values that you have, your attitudes, all the millions and trillions and infinite amount of beliefs that you have, decisions that you've made, all of your memories and language. So with all of those filters, your mind has to actually filter from 11 million bits per second to 126 bits per second. So that is what actually gives you, the way you filter those gives you a certain state and a certain physiology, which then in return gives you a behavior. So if you took winning the lottery and someone believes that it's actually investing money, they filtered out ways that truly made them believe that winning the lottery is investing money. Also, the first kiss, when you were young, the first kiss, you may have believed that it was falling in love. Then as you grew into an adult and you started dating and all of those things, your filters may have changed through the experiences and the different beliefs and decisions you made and the attitudes. So see, beliefs and decisions are two major filters that create what the behavior is going to reflect outside. So even COVID-19, for some people, COVID-19 was bad for their business. Other people, COVID-19 allowed people to bond more, to like, there's just different ways. So depending on your filters, depends on the behavior that you create for yourself and the environment around yourself. So limiting decisions are extremely important. And this is how it works. So you have the past and the now and the future. Now, when there's an event in your past that happened, what happens is the belief is created during that event that happens. And right after that belief, a decision is made. Sorry, the D should be over a little bit more. And so if you could actually go back to the root of where that belief came from, and it could actually be before, during, or after your birth, and completely transcend and transform that belief, then all of a sudden, you create a new future and results for yourself. How cool is that? And this is what it's like. So if you start at the top, our beliefs, well, if you start at this first event. So there's this first event when you decide something, when that belief, you created that belief. So it's kind of like a pearl necklace. It's the first pearl pearl bead on the necklace. Well, if you kept that decision, which any belief can happen at any moment in time. So that first time you believe something, say it's money, you created this belief of money. Then after that, you're actually going to create more significant emotional events that another bead and pearl is going to drop onto that necklace, and another that shows you the evidence of that very first belief. So say my money belief is, well, I grew up really poor. And so the first time I thought, and my filter showed me that I was really poor, was when I was 4 years old. So then after that, I'm going to create more and more significant emotional events for myself to show that that belief is that I was poor. Well, surprisingly, and what not very many people consider is that limiting beliefs can actually even be created in the womb and in a past life, whether you believe in reincarnation and you have past lives, or that there's a certain amount of time involved in that, which however you believe is perfect for you, or genealogical. It can be handed down to you genealogically. So for example, I had a client, she needed to work on her money beliefs. And she had this transcendental experience where she went back so many generations ago, and she had this vision of whether it was like a grandpa or great grandpa, doesn't matter. She envisioned being at this farm and they had a drought. And the decision was made during that time that they were poor. And she was stuck and trapped in this belief that she was poor, or that there was a drought in her life, and she didn't understand why, and it kept her trapped. Well, then we were able to go in, change things, and then all of a sudden, boom, she just goes and quadruples her income. So we don't know unless I ask you certain questions, whether it was in the past from 0 to 7, which is your imprint period, That's when you're a walking around unconscious mind. You have no consciousness whatsoever. And you just take on things, whatever that is, however your filters filter things out. It could be from 7 to 14 it's during your modeling period, which at that time, from 7 to 14, you're modeling people around you, whether that's a TV show, a cartoon, like doesn't matter. You start modeling things. So maybe you had a model, you modeled someone that makes very little money or lots of money, like whatever that is. Your limited beliefs could be during 7 to 14 or between 14 to 21 and on. So if you've never gotten to the root cause of where your limiting belief is actually coming from, like no wonder why you feel trapped or stuck making a certain amount of money. And even when I make a certain amount of money, I have to go back and find what's that next level that I'm wanting to hit. And where's that new limiting belief? Is it the same one or is it before then? Like, where is that new limiting belief coming from? Transcend that. And all of a sudden, boom, changes everything. So, oh, that's the same one. So in a nutshell, how will you transcend your limiting beliefs and break out of the box of feeling of that reality that you created for yourself? Because when you take back the responsibility and realize that you create your reality, you actually filter those things out. And how can you actually break out of those things and have absolute freedom, have absolute, creating the life that you truly want and get rid of those limiting beliefs and be limitless? Let's actually do a vision call where we go over the vision that you even want. Like, why do you have this vision? How can we actually expand it to something greater? And what kind of limiting beliefs could be holding you back from that vision? How can we actually get you from point A to point B, regardless of you doing any of my programs? What if we were to just sit down and see what your vision is and see what those blocks are that are keeping you trapped and how we can transcend those things? So anyway, if you would like to do a vision call, do a comment vision call in the comments below, and we'll reach out to you and get that scheduled. We only have like 3 spots available this week. So let me know by saying vision call and we'll reach out to you, and whoever gets on the calendar first, those 3 will get on our calendar and we'll meet up. Okay. Hope you guys have a really good day. And this was really beneficial for you. And you can see how this vision call and can really help you get to the bottom of your limiting beliefs and destroy them. All right, guys, keep transcending. We'll see you around.